in NFL history, the league's only full-time most valuable player, a quarterback who sat out the past season recovering from multiple neck surgeries. Manning agreed to a 5-year deal worth up to $96 million. For the upcoming season, he's guaranteed $18 million, and providing that he passes a physical next March, his next 2 seasons are guaranteed at $20 million each. So you're looking at a possible pretty close to it's $58 million, close to 60 in guaranteed money that Peyton Manning could actually get from this deal. What do Babethomherman, what do I think of it? I think it was, a lot of people are saying, well, what about Tim Tebow? Tim Tebow, in my opinion, is a great, up to this point, because we don't know what Tim Tebow is going to do in the future. But up to this point, Tim Tebow is a great person, great personality. But up to this point as a quarterback in the NFL, he's very mediocre. If you have a chance at getting a future Hall of Famer, even just for a couple of years, you're going to go after him. You're going to go after that particular player. Peyton Manning was just too good of a quarterback to pass by. Now, the Broncos are not stupid. They do have some protections in place just in case it doesn't work out. But I would like to have seen them keep him. Maybe let him spend a year or 2 behind Peyton Manning just to learn. I mean, we had situations like that with Joe Montana and Steve Young, and it paid off big dividends for the 49ers. They did get at least one Super Bowl ring after Montana retired from Steve Young. So I would like to have seen that happen. In a perfect world, that would have happened. I can't think for John Elway, who is currently the vice president of football operations for the Denver Broncos. But I think what he was worried about was the fan base, the strong fan base that Tim Tebow has in Denver. And not just in Denver, but around the country. That he has that would probably, keep things from gelling too well from a PR perspective. A lot of people like myself felt that some of the Broncos fans pushed the management into placing Tim Tebow as the starting quarterback at Denver last season. A lot of other people might have different opinions, but certainly I think the fans did have a big influence on head coach John Fox and vice president of football operations for the Broncos, pushing Tebow into the starting position at quarterback for the Denver Broncos, and who, by the way, led his team, the Denver Broncos, to last year's wild card game. So you certainly can't overlook, even though Tim Tebow had some deficiencies, you can't overlook his leadership abilities, because I don't think many quarterbacks could have led that team to a playoff spot. He's probably the only one that could have done it with just a few years in the NFL. Now, also of note that Tim Tebow, I mentioned earlier that he would not be with the Denver Broncos anymore. The Denver Broncos and the New York Jets agreed to pay, the Jets agreed to pay $2.5 million of a salary advance due to Tim Tebow. And he became a New York Jet on Wednesday. So he is no longer a Bronco, but now a New York Jet, who is on the depth chart as a backup to Mark Sanchez. Once again, as a backup, he will be a backup on the depth chart to Mark Sanchez, who definitely, Mr. Ego-driven Mark Sanchez, needs some competition. I think in the long run, Tim Tebow will probably work himself into that lineup if Sanchez go there with that cocky attitude, this holier-than-thou attitude. I wouldn't be surprised if Tim Tebow be the quarterback by the 5th week of the NFL regular season. Watch what I'm saying. Listen, Babethomherman said it. Don't be surprised to see Tim Tebow by the 5th game of the NFL regular season be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. Don't be surprised at all. Sean Payton, head football coach of the New Orleans Saints. Roger Goodell laid the commissioner of the NFL, the commish, laid down the law on his butt. Yes, I said butt. Laid the law on him. He laid it down on him. Issued a 1-year suspension to the New Orleans Saints head coach, football coach Sean Payton, for his role in the team's bounty system that rewarded defensive players for laying injurious hits on opposing players. Now, it's sickening to see a head coach. Now, Sean's going to, not only is his pride hurt, but his pocketbook's going to be hurt because he makes, I think, a reported $7 million for this upcoming season. He's not going to make that money. Now, if you're the New Orleans Saints management, you're sitting over there patting Sean on the shoulders. Oh, man, we hate to see you not be able to coach. But in the back of my mind, the owner's probably like, well, he ain't got to pay $7 million. Suck it up. Move on. Interim coach, whoever you are, Steve Spagnuolo, I think, will probably be the interim head coach. Here, you ain't making $7 million. We're saving $7 million. Get us into the playoffs at least. Not only was the head football coach Sean Payton suspended for the year, but defensive coordinator Greg Williams, once again that's defensive coordinator Greg Williams, who is now with the St. Louis Rams, probably not anymore after this. He's being suspended for 1 year as well. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's sickening. I can understand players having a little system like this, a little cookie jar system. You know, just getting their competitive juices going. But when you have a head coach and a defensive coordinator into this, it's sickening. It is sickening. Now, I said that Sean Payton will be making a reported $7 million, but I'm looking at reports, it's actually $7.5 million. So, I just would like to see his wife's reaction about this time. Oh boy, I know it's not a happy household in the Sean Payton's household. This Christmas, I'm sure he saved up some money. If he's smart, If he's smart, he saved up some money rather. But it's not probably too much being said in that household right now, other than some dishes and pans being thrown. Hines Ward, the Steeler great, who will go down as one of the best all-time Steelers, in my opinion. I said he retired Wednesday, but actually he retired Tuesday morning during a press conference, which I will let you hear the audio feed in his emotional press conference. The Steelers released Ward on February the 29th after the 2011 season, in which he caught just 46 passes for 381 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hines, quoting reports that Hines just didn't, and you will hear later on his reasoning for retiring. He didn't see himself playing for any other team, rightfully so after 14 seasons. He just didn't see himself in any other uniform than the black and yellow. And certainly I wouldn't even, sometimes you just look at players and say, man, they look odd in another team's uniform. Didn't Jerry Rice look odd to you in an Oakland Raiders uniform? I thought, man, it just killed me to see him in an Oakland Raider uniform after seeing him in a 49ers uniform for so many years. The same thing here when Joe Montana went to Kansas, when Marcus Allen went from the Raiders to Kansas. I mean, it just seems so odd. I appreciate him retiring, to be honest with you. I just couldn't bear seeing him with Arizona Cardinals shirt on. Or better yet, a Ravens? Oh, no way. I couldn't even see that. But, unfortunately, he didn't have a great season or a decent season last season. So the Steelers, of course, every team wants to go young. And you can't fault them for that. And it's just an unfortunate situation. But he did have 14 great seasons. And my hat's off to Hines Ward, number 86. They need to retire that number. That number needs to be retired from the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Now, here's Hines Ward in his emotional retirement announcement on Tuesday afternoon.
My love and passion for this game has given me 14 good years of football with the greatest organization in the world here in Pittsburgh. When I first came into this league, I didn't think I would have such a long and productive career. I am truly blessed. I have accomplished all that I set out to and more. I really have nothing left to prove. But it is my love for the game that makes me want to continue playing. I feel like I have a few more good years in me left to where I can make a difference and help a team. I am a competitor, and I would love nothing more than to get back to another Super Bowl. But that's the passion in me. That's the passion that I have. These past few weeks, I spent a lot of time reading thousands of emails, Facebook posts, tweets, letters, cards, and well wishes from fans everywhere. And as I read them, I was really moved by the tremendous outpouring of love, encouragement, and support from everybody everywhere. It really got to me. Through it all, I realized that there's only one thing that I love more than the game, and that's Steeler Nation. When I think about football, I think about Steeler Nation and the fans. For all the fans, for years who camped out in the parking lots on game days in the freezing rain and snow. To all the fans who traveled all over the world, nationwide, across the country, to cheer us on. The ones wearing my jerseys in Denver, New York, and even Baltimore, and every city that I've ever played in. The ones who voted for me for Mirror Ball, on Dancing with the Stars, and the ones I recently saw in the black and gold, giving me a shout out on the red carpet at the Oscars. It is truly amazing. Without the support, over the past 14 years, this game wouldn't mean the same to me. Wouldn't be as fun for me. You guys meant the world to me. The city and this organization means the world to me. So today, as sadly as it feels to me right now, I hope today will be a good day for everybody here. Today I came back to Pittsburgh to grant Steeler Nation as one last request. So today, I'm officially retired as a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was former Steeler great Hines Ward in his very emotional retirement speech on this past Tuesday morning. Also, I haven't forgotten, I do wish the UNC Tar Heels and NC State Wolfpack men much success on Friday as University of North Carolina faces Ohio. There's a question of whether injured point guard Kendall Marshall will be able to play. Kendall, of course, is all on the news, injured his right wrist against Creighton. So we do wish him a speedy recovery and also wish the NC State men much success as they play against Kansas, the University of Kansas. Also, the Duke women will face a tough St. John Red Storm team this weekend in the women's Sweet 16. Well, unfortunately, my time is up, and I certainly hope that you enjoyed this edition of the Babethomherman Show with your host here, Herman Thomas. Also, please remember, if you need to contact me directly, please feel free to do so at babethomherman@yahoo.com. Also, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at Babethomherman.